Hello, my fellow healers. My name is Adina, and I'm that healing girl. And in this pick a card reading, we're going to be discussing the energies that the new moon in Leo that happened on August 4th has brought into our lives. As always, this is a timeless reading. So take what resonates with you and leave the rest behind, trusting that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. So just a little disclaimer. Normally, I would have already had this reading out, but I was on vacation. I took an awesome cruise. When I got back, Mercury retro things hit, and I got really, really, really sick for a good 2 weeks. So I haven't been doing much of anything but recovering from a really bad flu, not COVID, thankfully, but it was pretty bad. And on top of that, found out that the job where I was working, my day job, if you may, was laying off all of their employees on my first day back to work. So that is definitely happening. All these Mercury retrograde things, and I firmly believe at this point, after I had my little meltdown, that the universe is pushing me in the direction that I need to go in, and so I'm choosing to trust it. Just kind of letting people who are watching this channel kind of a little bit of a peek into what's going on in my personal life. So I haven't been able to do the readings, the pick-a-card readings, as regularly as I had planned to. So this is going to just be discussing the energies that the new moon in Leo brought in versus what it's going to bring in. And I feel like the energies that the new moon Leo brought in are going to definitely resonate far out into the rest of the year. So without further ado, this pile is number 1. This has the Argonite on it. And this pile, which has a Sunstone, is pile number 2. And this beautiful Pyrite crystal is pile number 3. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, pile number 1 with this lovely Argonite crystal. And Argonite is a crystal that it helps to disperse stagnant energies in the body. Let's see what, I'm kind of curious as to what this reading means. And of course, we are still in Mercury retro. So as always with Mercury retro, we want to definitely be careful about any rash decisions, rash emotions, rash words, anything like that that could come out, especially since it's in Leo. Any of these things that we do can possibly affect like how people see us in a long-term way, whether that be career, romance, or whatever. So if you have a lot of things that you want to say, just use this time to sort of think about it, meditate on it. More so than actually like making any definite statements or decisions at the time. It's always the best thing to do. And Mercury retrograde is going to be over on the 28th, and the shadow period is going to be over about 2 weeks after that. So I usually say like wait until the shadow period, but if you can, at least wait until the end of the month to do anything rash. Oh, and as we say, that's the Tower in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune. 4 of Cups. So for you, pile number 1, there's been a giant upheaval in your life that the new moon in Leo has brought in. With the Tower in reverse, this has probably already occurred. And at this point, you're picking up the pieces. Yeah, with the Wheel of Fortune, the energy is very much what comes up must go down. Right now, you are in the down cycle of whatever this energy has happened. Again, this could be job or relationship dissolution, or friendship dissolution, or it could even be like an organization that you maybe it's more of a passion project that you were involved in that for whatever reason lost funding, or the people decided to go their separate ways. But whatever it is has left you feeling stunned and a little devastated with this Four of Cups energy. You might not be taking, with it reversed, you might not be taking the time that you need. You might be trying to rush ahead and, you know, put on this false face. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. I've got this. I can do it. And in reality, it's not. You still need time to process this change. It's been very much a shock to your system. Yeah. The message I'm getting is it's okay to not be okay. It's okay if you have to get off the rat race for a little bit. And I guess just kind of gain perspective. Like, try and view your situation with a bird's eye view. Try and look at it in this hindsight as 2020 aspect. See what lessons you can learn. It might even be helpful to like get a piece of paper and physically write down, these are the things that happened that were bad, and these are the things that I could see might be positives that I can gain, whether it's lessons I've gained and learned from the situation, or whether it's like, because this terrible situation happened, that you have, you know, there might be some things actually good coming out of it. If that makes any sense. Sort of like, for instance, well, you see my own situation, being laid off is going to give me more time to, say, focus on making videos for this channel and possibly pivoting in a new direction to really discover, like, was that really the place where I needed to be? Now I have this sort of opportunity to start over in a way, and to make fresh new decisions with fresh eyes. And it's all a matter of perspective, especially with this Wheel of Fortune energy. Whether this is an upturn or a downturn, it's all going to be how you look at it. And you can bring as much negativity or positivity as you perceive to this situation. So, and from what I'm getting, is the best way to perceive this situation is through the eyes of trust, trusting in the universe, trusting in your ability to rise above any situation that comes your way. Yeah. And whatever happened, because this is reversed, a part of you may have known this was going to happen, or was a possibility that could happen, whether it's a relationship falling apart. I feel like for some of you, this is a relationship. For some of you, this is career. And for some of you, this is like a group that went together. They came together to do a common goal. So it could have been like a book club, or whatever reason, or like maybe you have an art commune, or whatever that is, came together for a purpose of creating, or a hobby. And now people, because maybe they don't have time, they have a new job, or they just simply don't want to do it anymore. It's kind of like dissolved, and it's left you nonplussed. Wow, in every moment the universe is conspiring to bring me toward the right-minded thinking and energy of love. This actually came up in my Instagram. I'm that healing girl. I am that healing girl. That's my Instagram handle, and it actually came up in regarding to like big life changes that could be happening that are going to be challenging in your life. And then let's see, solitude. Oh yeah, very much. It wouldn't be surprised if I drew another card. It would be the Hermit card. The energy is very much with this Four of Cups in reverse. You kind of want to withdraw from sort of like the rat race of life. Regroup. You know, meditate. Take time to yourself. Even if you don't meditate, maybe you want to journal. You know, do a little bit of a yoga or reflection. And let's see what this solitude card has to say, because we're using, this is from the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise, Linn, and of course I'm going to put all of the cards and oracles that I use in the info section. If anybody pulls cards on their own and is drawn to any of the decks, I do use a couple of the same decks many times over and over again, adding new ones as I see fit or as I'm drawn to. This one says, Solitude, Sacred Island. Islands are bodies of land surrounded by water. They can be in an atoll or a river basin, however the ocean surrounds most islands. They can be massive with their own unique, very verdant ecosystems, or they can be small and barren. The terrain can be flat or mountainous. They can be a detachment from the mainland through erosion, or they can arise from the sea through volcanic activity. The thing that is universal in all islands is their isolation, and many cultures assign mystical, symbolic meaning to particular islands. They are thought to be resting places of gods and are thus used for sacred purposes. For some of you who do deity work, for whatever reason, I'm getting Pele, who's a deity in Hawaii. That energy is coming up very, very strong. She's a fire deity, from what I understand, and is very much about cleaning house. And this tower energy would be in line with that kind of energy. To spend some time alone in your life, this means to take your own counsel rather than relying on the opinions and dictates of others. Break away from the crowd, be on your own. This card also speaks of self-resourcefulness, self-reliance, and tenacious individuality. If you are working on a project, trust your instincts and follow your lead. Your creativity is at its peak, let it flow. If you're in a relationship that is disempowering, this card suggests it's time to step away. Take time to reassess your life. In the solitude, you will thrive. This card also suggests safe haven, a sacred womb for incubation and self-transformation. So, you know, like I said, I'm getting strong vibes with this card, saying it could be a project or a relationship, that it's probably their job, a project, sort of group project, or a relationship that has fallen apart. And this is solitude that the universe is bringing around for you to be able to grow, and for you to be able to focus on the things that matter to you the most. So whatever fell apart, trust that something else is going to come in, and whatever's going to come in is going to be what's right for your soul at this time, in this moment. Yeah. It's a very, very lovely reading, pile number 1. Even though it's going to be a hard time for you, you're going to find a lot of not only soul growth, but spiritual growth and growth of yourself, emotional growth. Yeah, in this time of solitude. It might feel a little lonely, but try and sort of just lean into that. Lean into whatever your feelings are. Journal. And if you have people in your life or friends that have always been there, you can definitely lean on them, but just remember that you also need to take time to yourself to process everything, and not to pretend like everything's okay, but to really process what you're feeling, and that way healing can begin, pile number 1. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I'll see you next time. Okay, pile number 2. So we have this lovely Sunstone. Sunstone has a very bright and healing energy that connects with the solar plexus chakra, and it allows you to take action in a very directed and energetic way that has very positive sort of like divine masculine energy vibes. I say that in terms of masculine energy typically being the archetype for a solar energy versus lunar moon energy. So let's see what this Leo new moon is bringing in, or has brought in for you. Oh yeah, duality. A need to balance. So this new moon in Leo was bringing in balance in your life. Balance in the areas of not only like I would say, between your finances and your personal life, particularly with this Two of Discs energy. And this has the yin yang and then the butterflies for transformation. You're transforming how you see your work, and you're creating more work-life balance. You're going to be creating more work-life balance. So this might come in the form of, I'm getting very much high career energy here. So it might come in the form of you like losing certain responsibilities at a job. So let's say you were like a team manager and you had a whole team, and now your job is like, okay, we're going to hire this other person and we want you to train them. And you might feel threatened at first, but what really is happening is you're going to be freed up to do your job better, and you're going to be freed up to have more personal time. You can sort of let this other person do their job. And for some of you, this also might be like, I'm getting a vibe of like artificial intelligence. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe. This is neither good nor bad. Personally, I have a lot of views about AI, but I'm still getting that coming through. And again, the message is the message. I can't control the message. So for some of you, it might mean that you're incorporating more artificial intelligence into a job, and that also feels threatening, maybe for good reason, but it's coming nonetheless. And then this Queen of Swords is upside down. If you turn it right side up, you'll see that there's like an owl balance on this sword. And I think in this reading, that has to do with your soul, your spirit, and yourself. And what's important to you being balanced on sort of like this knife edge of all of your responsibilities on your shoulders, with this sword being on your shoulders. Yeah, and with this duality card, it's not necessarily going to be easy. Yeah, it's not necessarily going to be easy, because we might be kind of fighting what's happening, if that makes sense. Yeah, definitely fighting what's going on. And again, nobody can really tell you what to do, but from these cards I'm getting, don't try and go with the flow. Try and sort of move with the natural current of life. Yeah. Yeah. With this card, with this Queen of Swords card, a lot of times there's a lot of pain or separation. And I don't think that this pain or separation has to do with a person per se, but a way of doing things. You are used to doing things a certain way in your career and in your life, and now you're being asked to challenge the way that that's done. And because it's challenging some pretty deeply held beliefs within yourself, it's not going to be easy. For some of you, this might be two different jobs. Like maybe one's self-employed, one's employed with a traditional employer. And you're sort of like, I wish I could do things at my, traditional employer job that I do them for myself. I just want to be able to do them for myself. And you're being asked to create sort of a balance around this energy, about how much of sort of a little bit of rebellious spark that you bring into it versus how much you need to go with the status quo. And only you know that. Only you know what will consist of a balance and a flow for you. Let's see what. The universe works fast when I'm having fun. I think you're being told not necessarily to not take this as seriously as you are. Again, I'm getting the vibes that it's either You're being asked to change the way you work in some way in your job. And you've been always doing it that way. And I think this card is telling you not to take it so seriously. To allow some of the change in. And of course, you know, there might be some things that you want to like, hey, you know, I want this to stay this way. And ultimately, if you decide that none of it works, you can then decide to leave the situation where you're at and look for something else new. If it's literally going against everything within you. That's also an option. Of course, again, it's Mercury retrograde right now, so I don't recommend any rash decisions. It might feel even more unbearable during Mercury retrograde because things are balancing out. The astrological energies are trying to work to balance it out, so it might feel like, oh gosh, I can't deal with this, I can't do this. But at least during Mercury retrograde, try and bear with it and then make any final decisions afterwards, because you might regret later on the decisions you made rashly during the Mercury retrograde period when it seemed like that was the way to go. So, but yeah, this is, oh, and freedom. Yeah. I'm getting strongly that for a lot of you, this is sort of allowing other people, like for instance, training a mentee and you're a mentor. You're allowing somebody else to share part of your responsibilities, and you're having issue with trusting them to give up enough of that responsibility for them to also do their job. And they're feeling that friction. It's going back and forth, and you guys are butting heads. When really, according to these cards, I think you should relax, allow them to help you balance it out. You know, train this person if it's a person, or if it's more a group of people that is, you know, sort of coming into a department and changing the way things are done in order to optimize it. You might also be kind of fighting that too. So let's see what the Freedom card says. Yeah, there's a lot of change energy happening around this new moon in Leo. A lot of changing of the status quo and of the way things were done. Mercury retrograde is helping a lot of that along. Okay. I'm just trying to find freedom here. Here we go. So it says, freedom, cliff swallow. The swallow flies free on the currents. And thermals and remarkable aerial maneuvers, igniting the expression as free as a bird. In many cultures, such as that of the ancient Egyptians, the swallow was thought to carry souls to heaven. Early sailors would tattoo themselves with an image of a swallow, so if they drowned, the swallow would carry their soul to heaven, to the heavens. In poor light, a cliff swallow looks brownish gray. However, in good lighting, it's luminous, metallic dark blue. Cliff swallows traditionally make their nests on vertical cliffs, carefully crafting them out of mud. Although they can nest solitarily, they usually nest in colonies. When one finds a cloud of insects, it alerts the other members of the flock so they can be nourished. Even when they fly free, their community supports them. Yes, so you're being asked in this situation to work with the changes, to be flexible, to be adaptable. And I feel like this is strongly a career. It doesn't feel like a relationship or anything. It feels like job energy. And you're being asked to change the way you do things in order to optimize things, whether that be bring on a person to train them, or whether that be change sort of like protocols for the way things are done. And for some of you, this means incorporating like artificial intelligence into the mix, because that's kind of the way that technology is going at the moment. And you might be bristling against some of these changes, and the universe is saying to sort of work with the changes the best you can. But not to lose your own sense of freedom and expression. It's the rest of the card says, the sacred landscape wants you to know, express yourself without hesitation, break free and let your spirit fly, make choices that increase your freedom, don't be tied down, laugh, dance, explore, go beyond predictable behavior, be daring, cast aside restrictions, find your wings. As you do, you'll help others find theirs. You are not here to be ordinary, live in mundane life. You are here to step beyond limitations and self-imposed boundaries. Do not be trapped by convention or the need to please others. Choose life on your terms. Don't accept rules that don't feel right. You can be immensely free and yet still be part of a loving, supportive community. So yes, it's saying that certain things about this, you might be able to stand your ground, but don't be inflexible. And also on the same note, if you feel that it's completely not working for you, you do have the option to leave, fly free, and choose something else. Choose another path. If you feel like this change that is happening is actually going against everything that you are. So, yeah, so that is the message that I have for you, pile number 2. I hope you enjoy your reading, and I will see you next time. Okay, pile number 3. So we have this lovely pyrite crystal. Pyrite crystal is about it's bringing in an abundance, usually financial, but it can be any kind of abundance, but definitely bringing in wealth energy. It's also highly related to doing and acting and the solar plexus. There's been a lot of career energy and sort of image energy in this reading thus far. So let's see what goes on with pile number 3. And let's see, with pile number 3, there was definitely more message coming through because you ended up having four tarot cards. We're just gonna make some room for these. So, wow. So you have 3 major arcana cards. So whatever has happened is being set in motion. With this new moon and Leo energy, you're really being asked to sort of go out on faith. Yeah. Sort of like almost take a leap of faith with this Fool card here. You're at the start of a new beginning and a new journey. It's almost like a feeling of like a springtime energy. However, we're doing this in Mercury retrograde. So there is caution advised. Don't necessarily step off the bridge. See, there's a little dog there and he's sniffing over the edge. And there's the dog barking at you. He's trying to warn you to don't necessarily step just yet. Make sure that you have your footing under you. You know, maybe at least look before you leap is kind of the message there. Even though this Fool energy is upright, and this is probably an okay time for you to make a little bit of an educated guess and take a risk. You might even be in a position financially where you can take risks. This almost feels like somebody who is involved in a very analytical job. So with this King of Swords here, this person, they definitely have some financial power behind them. I'm getting maybe like a stockbroker, or somebody who's into trading or forex, or there's something very analytical about this person. They might be something like a lawyer or a judge. They have a lot of financial wherewithal, let's put it that way, at their disposal. And they're not worried for money with this Pyrite energy. I think with this Fool card, they want to make some kind of an investment. This is a financial investment nature, whether it be investing in a certain stock or bond or whatever. I'm getting the energy of do your research and don't do anything before Mercury retrograde. That's definite. Like if you have some stocks that you're looking at, don't just willy-nilly say, I'm doing it. Do your due diligence and then cross all your T's and dot all your I's. Even for people who are not necessarily stockbrokers or whatever, this feels like an investment. Like maybe somebody wants you to invest in a business or an idea of theirs, or or something like that. With this Hermit card, I'm getting the energy of withdrawing, and not the energy of withdrawing like, oh, I'm going into a shell, but you're withdrawing sort of with Hermit energies. There's also, you have guides around you, right, that are kind of telling you what to do in the spirit world. And I get the sense of that they're saying this is probably fine and probably okay, but definitely withdraw for a while, especially if it's like a person that's saying like, oh, I've got this amazing idea, you have to do it now, like you got to get on it right now, like time's of the essence, blah blah blah. Like don't let yourself be rushed by this person, this fool energy. Don't let yourself be rushed. I feel like the fool energy is the person, the idea, the thing. The Hermit is you. And before, with this devil energy, you were tempted at one time before by like really rash behavior, and it didn't go well. The other thing is you're a person that is tempted by like the prospect of making money, and by sort of like the aspect of just gaining wealth in itself, with this devil energy reversed. Yeah. You don't necessarily want to give in to the devil energy, is what is saying. Yeah. In the past, you have rushed into money-making situations and been burnt. And this card is cautioning you against doing that now, especially since around Mercury retrograde. Of course, do what you feel, do whatever you want to do, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. But these cards are telling me that now is not the time for rash behavior when it comes to financial investments. Not saying don't do it, it's just saying due diligence. When I think I've surrendered, surrender more. I think this has to do with surrendering behaviors that are sort of like, without sounding too judgmental, a bit greedy in nature, a little bit of avarice, a little bit of like grasping energy, like, oh man, if I don't get on this right now, then it's going to go away. And in reality, you're comfortable, you don't necessarily need it. You do have this. You do have wealth, and this is more about you amassing more than I need to survive. So you can take some time and sort of like decide whether or not this will actually end in you amassing more, or if you'll actually end up losing more. Trust. I think this is meaning to trust in the universe's divine timing, especially if you believe in like guides or angels or anything like that. Trust that you don't have to jump ahead. You don't have to rush ahead. You'll be exactly where you need to be when the time is right. You got a lot more cards. And then purification. The purification is definitely referring to this devil card. You're being given choices, and these choices are seeing how far have you grown as a person. There's a tendency for you to sort of amass wealth or grab things just for the sake of these things, rather than what it can do for you as a person, if that makes any sense. Sort of like amassing, how would I put it? Amassing a lot of physical things out of more of a sense of fear. Like, oh my gosh, if I don't have all of this wealth and all of these things, and I have wealth right now, but it's not enough, so I have to keep like building more to feel more secure. But the security that you seek is not actually going to come from amassing more wealth. Yeah, this one's kind of deep. Let's read the trust card. I mean, they're all the readings were deep thus far, but this one is, yeah, more about you. The sense that I'm getting is you're comfortable but you're amassing more wealth because you're afraid that the wealth that you already have will somehow go away. And that comes from like deep down from a lack thinking. Even though you have a lot, the energy is like a lack-based thinking, like, oh, it'll go away. So it says trust. Desert vision, sorry. The desert seems parched and devoid of life, yet it is to the desert that spiritual sojourners go to gain messages from the Creator. Traditionally, the desert is a place of spiritual cleansing. Oh my gosh, this is a purification card going along hand with this. Renewal and profound healing visions. Just as desert terrain can feed our souls, it can also nourish lands thousands of miles away. For example, the Sahara Desert and the Amazon rainforest are a great distance from each other. One is vast, dry area of sand and scrub, while the other is moist and lush, and yet they are connected. Annually, thousands of tons of nutrient-rich dust from the Sahara continents in the upper atmosphere crosses continents in the upper atmosphere and deposits vital phosphorus and other minerals to the Amazon, which is needful of those exact nutrients. Sacred Landscape wants you to know this is a powerful and important card to receive, even when things seem parched or not fruitful. A deeper energy speaks to the power of inner knowing. Meditate. Trust those nudges from the universe. Your celestial advisors are close now. Oh my gosh, yes, the guides, the Hermit card. You are open to receive some of the most important messages of your life through intuition. Your intuition is spot on, trusted, and even if there are areas of life that seem lackluster, know your other areas are being fertilized for a resplendent future. Have faith and know there is a higher purpose. Yes, so part of your mind is like afraid that if you lose everything you amass, it's like this parched desert energy, so you're trying to like keep everything like this Amazon energy, right? Like it's all fertile and growing, and the whole message of this is to not fear either state, to not fear this lack state that you fear could come in the future, but just to see it as another incarnation of, like, I guess, the cycle of your soul. In other words, you're kind of keeping yourself entrapped a little bit because you don't really have anything to worry about, but you're afraid that you might lose what you have. So amassing more, you think, is the solution. It's the solution to that, and it's not. The solution is actually surrendering that fear, to give up and surrender trust to the universe and let your intuition and your guides guide you. And in this scenario, I think you'll be just fine waiting it out for a while. You don't have to make any rush decisions that are made from like that lack aspect, if that makes any sense. From that lack aspect of, oh my gosh, if I lose this opportunity, I'll lose out on this investment. And no, you'll be just fine. Even if the investment goes away, another one will come along. You're totally financially secure right now. You don't have to buy into any fear consciousness about what you have already. Right here with the purification card, it says, traditionally, rain symbolizes rebirth and washing away sins. Water is also associated with emotions, and a summer rain can represent the release of long-held emotions that allow for purification and inner healing. There is also a renewal aspect of rain. The old saying that April showers bring May flowers means that what follows the rain is a time of renewal and blossoming. It's difficult for new, vibrant energy to enter your life if it's clogged with old, outdated energy. Cleanse and purify your body and your physical space. This is a great time for a detox, clutter, clearing, cleansing, and space clearing. Release outdated energy to invite fresh energy into your life. Eat lightly. Don't take things personally. Release resentment, guilt, and blame. Purify yourself, thought, word, and deed. Decluttering is a modern-day alchemy. If you don't love it or use it, let it go. This card can also represent abundance, as flowing water is a metaphor for prosperity, and summer is a time of expansion. Yes. The old thing that you're holding on to, pile number 3, is actually the old dated lack behavior that you had before you amassed the wealth that you currently have. Now that you currently have the things to be comfortable, you can't let the fear of the outdated sort of lack belief go, because you're afraid at any point that you can lose it and go back to square one, and then you'll have to work all the way over again. The universe is telling you to trust that you have everything you need and that more abundance is coming, and to get rid of this sort of idea, these outdated ideals that were the devil energy, that was that you never have enough, that it'll never be enough. You really want to, like, maybe even use affirmations like, I am enough, I have all that I need, I'm safe and secure, and these very grounding affirmations to help you heal your root chakra, pile number 3. You have what you need, but what's happening right now is more at the level of the soul, spirit, and your mental health. Accepting that you are now moving into a state of abundance, and that the old attitudes of lack, even though you have a lot now, are still hanging around and affecting your energy, and those are what you need to let go, perhaps around the full moon that is going to be coming up on the 19th. So I'm going to be also doing a reading on that full moon energy as well. So yes, pile number 3, this is what I have for you today. I hope you have enjoyed your reading, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.